Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for round 9 of the season for the Austrian Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring. If you guys missed round 8 for the French Grand Prix, you can go watch it by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of your screen before we jump into any spoilers. But for guys, just a small little plug. Earlier on today I did a video reviewing a brand new gaming monitor, and it was my first ever product review ever. So I'd like to get some feedback from you guys and tell me what you thought of it. It'll be linked also on the top right hand corner of the screen, also linked down below in the description, guys. And I was reviewing a gaming monitor from BenQ. But plug out the way, we're now going to focus on the racing here today. And for this episode, we have a double reliability upgrade on the MGUK and the energy storage, which I mentioned before. They were important because those are the components that only you can use twice in a whole season, and they do a lot of races. In terms of the actual reliability charts though, and the performance charts, you can see on the screen, we've lost places to Toro Rosso, McLaren and Racing Point. We went from the 4th quickest team to the 7th quickest team in one race, and not much we could do, unfortunately. We didn't bring any upgrades for this one, and the AI also brought a lot of their own, and we've dropped quite a way down the pecking order. As you can see currently in practice, I'm losing my DRS halfway through the track acclimatization, and that did affect the practice program, as I could only get a green score because I got purple in every single gate. But because I had no DRS, none of the zones, I missed out on the purple score. But other than that, it was a decent session. The qualifying performance test, should I say, wasn't ideal either. Just didn't have the pace, to be honest with you. I was lacking a bit of pace, and I could put that down to the fact that we got overtaken and we're lacking a couple of upgrades, which we are going to put on for the next race. I've already got a major chassis one on the way for the next race, and hopefully we can add a few upgrades to that in this episode, because I want to have a massive upgrade package going into my home race at Silverstone, because the next race at Britain is probably, besides Monaco, the easiest one of the calendar in terms of beating the AI on 110. They're not majorly quick around there, so they're still fast on 110, but compared to other tracks, they're a lot more beatable. And I think if you get it right, it could be a very good weekend, and that could be a fantastic opportunity for me to get a really, really strong result. And I'm not going to say I want a podium, but I wouldn't rule it out. It could happen. It depends, if the upgrades arrive and how the car performs in that weekend. But the main thing is that the upgrades need to arrive, and they have to be important. So we're going to jump into qualifying here at Austria, and we're going to jump into Q1. We're going to go for 2 runs in this session, and straight away going to qualifying, I didn't feel 100% confident. I was slower than Kubica in every single session, and generally I was struggling a bit with the car. And in qualifying, even as I jumped into Q1, I made a few front wing adjustments, and you see here I got no validation on my first lap, unfortunately, right through the final corner. Even still, that lap that I set would have only been quick enough for P19, and I made some front wing adjustments. So for the final run, we're going to have a bit of a different car, and it was working quite well, to be fair. I put a little bit more front wing on, and we also about a 10th up, but I had Lance Stroll in front of me here in the Renault, and he just put me off a bit, to be honest, in the last run. I was getting some dirty air, so I just backed off. I had half a lap left, so I backed right off, turned the engine down, used the remaining ERS I had left, and we're going to go for what is my best lap in the Q1 session. So let's run aboard and let's see how we get on. 3 minutes to go. Verstappen setting the pace. Let's see what kind of lap we can do here at the Red Bull. And straight away we throw the car into turn 1. Really nice wide entry, attacking the apex, and then focusing on our exit. And we didn't get the spare traction. We had some oversteer out of turn 1, but still up the hill towards turn 3, braking after the 100 meter board down to first, all the way down to first. Make sure you pick up the traction on the exit nice and smooth, and we actually get a good exit there, improving quite a bit on the delta. And now we're going to go in towards where the little bit of front winger we put on is going to make a big difference, because sector 2's got a few more corners, as does sector 3. So here you go, out of turn 4 now, on the power, keeping a nice tight line to the right hand side, and we're a 10th up as we now throw the car into 5, and again just keeping a nice tight line, let the car then run wide onto the exit, bring it back across, and we're 4 tenths down here, not too shabby through the second sector.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap. Well, that's qualifying over for us.
But I was losing most of my time through this final sector, so I threw the car into the final couple of corners here, and obviously the delta now is not really relative, as it's not a realistic time as we cross the line and go P13. So overall not too bad, 9 tenths off the top with a 103.6. And that was actually an incredible lap. I did not expect for 1 second to get out of Q1. I did not expect it at all. That lap came from absolutely nowhere. We out-qualified Kubica by 3 tenths. You can see how close it is in midfield. It's such small margins, but that lap was definitely unexpected. And I fully thought I was going to get knocked out in Q1. I didn't think I had that pace in me. And it was such a good lap. In fact, I wasn't able to match it over the rest of the qualifying session, because in Q2 we went out on a used set of my first run. Did a 103.8, which is not a bad bank lap, but only still P15 and not very good. And then I went out again on a fresh set of rubber, and we are going to improve. So let's see what the lap is exactly and how it progresses, and let's see if it helps us get out of Q2, because we could still get out of Q2 even if it isn't an improved lap time, because it has happened before that AI do go slower in Q2. So here we go then, hit in turn 1 once again, taking the wide line across the apex, and so far so good as we go on to the first of many straights on the lap, as we go now up the hill looking for the 100 meter board up towards turn 3 as the reference brake zone. They're braking once again down to first gear, and look, missing apex a little bit there, just getting a little bit wide. We've got the power though quite nicely, and we get a good exit as we're almost a 10th up here onto the back straight, and now going down towards turn 4, braking again just after the 100 meter board, down to third, and then later on down to second, missing my apex slightly again there. There's a bit of a front lock up, but we do actually improve, and we're a 10th and a half up as we go towards the end of sector 2, throwing the car into this first to the left, and I've run very wide here. I completely messed up the line and threw away an easy 10th of a second, 10th and a half. Unfortunately, I just got the line completely wrong, and we do get a good exit out of the second left, and we're 2 turns up currently on my previous lap, as I got a Red Bull behind me as we now go to the final 2 corners here, throwing the car in and letting the downforce do the work. 1 more corner to go here, tapping the inside curb on the power as soon as possible, and we're up by 2.5 tenths. Could have been, I reckon, 3.5, but it's a 103.7, which is a 10th down on my Q1 lap, 1.1 off the pace, and only good enough for P14. Eventually, though, we got pushed down to P15 as Sergio Perez improved, and he was the one behind us. So we're going to get knocked down in Q2, and it is only P15. With the lap we did in Q1, we would have got P13, which would have been a small improvement, but ultimately, you know, it's fine margins. And like I said, overall, I was just shocked to get out of Q1, because that lap in Q1 was so special, because I couldn't match it in Q2. And overall, I was very, very happy with the session. And the fact of going to Q2 was good enough, considering how much ground we lost in the midfield in this race in terms of upgrades. And looking like Kubica qualified, it's also a good sign that we maximised the session. So yeah, guys, that is it for qualifying here at the Red Bull Ring. And we've also got a worn-out engine, so it's going to be a bit of a tricky race, but I think we can still make something happen on the strategy front. But guys, overall, a decent qualifying. I feel like I maximised it, but we're now going to move into the race for round 9 of the season here for the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring, and let's try and score some points.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. Anthony Davidson joins me to talk you through the action here today at what is quite an unusual racetrack, wouldn't you say, Ant?
Yeah, it's quite an odd layout around here. The thing about Austria is that it's a harder circuit to master than what really meets the eye. On top of that, it's a low grip surface, and that means that your small mistakes end up being punished, and it's very easy to slide wide into the runoff area and lose a huge chunk of time. Luckily, because it's such a short circuit though, you have plenty of opportunities to perfect the lap.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, Bottas, Kvyat, Martinez and Norris, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Lance Stroll and Robert Kubica. Albon, they've taken a grid penalty, and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, so it is race time for the Austrian Grand Prix, and we start from 13th place. Luckily for us, someone got a penalty behind us, so we've been promoted quite a way up the grid, which is good news. And overall, I'm feeling confident because we're not too far off the top 10 already, and our starts have been pretty good lately, and also the strategy is going to be absolutely key around here. The one-stop is so effective around this track, and we're going to have that benefit of being able to do the one-stopper. Although, to be fair, I think everyone should be able to one-stop here today. The tyre wear, at least on our car, would allow us to one-stop even if you qualify on the soft tyres. But you can see on the screen, we're going to start the mediums and then go on to the softs. we're going to go for that strategy. Hopefully we have a very strong second half of the race, and it's important to really kind of stay in the race and be near to the points in the first stint on the medium tyres. I've got a feeling everyone's going to start on the softs because that's what I was originally recommended. You know, originally my strategy at the start was actually a soft medium, and I've switched that around. In terms of fuel though, we're running 1 lap extra fuel than the recommended amount. Originally the game said 36.5 and I've pushed it up to 37, and it's 1 whole lap more than the actual race in itself. So hopefully that will help us out. We can use that in this race to really make sure that we attack and defend accordingly. But overall, I'm looking forward to this race because even though we've lost performance in the car, I do feel like we can still score points, and we do seem to have good race pace. So let's see how we get on, and hopefully it's a decent race. But it's now time for round 9 for the Austrian Grand Prix. Here we go then. Let's build up the revs here as the 5 red lights come on here at the Red Bull Ring. Lights out, and away we go. Try to get the power down as soon as I can. It's not a terrible start. Definitely not my best though on the medium. It's got a Haas there launching one down the inside. We've got Bottas here side by side with the Toro Rosso. We do manage to hang it around the outside and hold on to P13. We're going to out-drag Grosjean there as we go up towards turn 3 now. I'm going to try my luck around the outside. A little bit of space. Here's Hamilton in the other Mercedes. Yellow flag. And look at that fantastic triple overtake around the outside. We get past 3 cars, including Carlos Sainz, and we are up to P10 and into the points already. Like I said before, we got Hamilton in front of us. So both Mercedes, I think, carrying penalties in this race. So that's going to be a massive opportunity for the Red Bulls and Ferraris to try and pick something up this race. But so far, good start. From what I can tell, nobody's running mediums, just me. So I'm going to be the odd one out strategy here. And I might be struggling at first in this race because we're going to have Sainz all over us in the McLaren here, I think, early on. We need to try and pick up the performance. He's going to be giving me pressure straight away in the McLaren. So we might have to weather the storm these first couple of laps. As Sainz has a look down the inside there in the final corner, no way through. And that's going to cost him some time as lap point draws to a close.
We're accumulating some wear on the MG UK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
Yeah, I mean, it's the last race with the MG UK, so I'm not really too bothered. As Hamilton gets a move there on the Sauber Alfa Romeo. Doesn't quite pull it off, but we've got a nice little gap to Sainz here. We've actually pulled away. And there's battling in front as well. That's already commenced, so these battles happen, that's going to keep us in the race. But at the minute, if we can hold P10 now into the pit stops, I'll be more than happy because we're going to have the soft tyre to attack on later on in the race. So this is good news for us as Hamilton still trying to put a pass on the Alfa, I believe, of Antonio Giovinazzi.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
I don't have DRS on Giovinazzi. I thought I would do, but I don't. Sainz has caught back up to the back of me here, and he's going to have DRS. So he's going to go for the move here. We're going to have to defend the inside. Nice and late on the brakes. Bit of a front lock-up on both tyres, but we do stay in front. A little bit of oversteer, but we do get a good enough exit to take the pressure off, so Sainz won't be attacking us for now. I need to try and get within a second of Giovinazzi, preferably.
The energy store is getting warm, reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Yeah, again, this is the last race with that component, along with the MG UK, so I've just got to put up with it for this race. This means I can't charge my battery up to 100%, but that's fine. There comes Sainz.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon.
Sainz goes clean around the outside as I pick up a corner car, but I had to give Sainz a space. But look at the speed we've got here. We're actually going to re-overtake him without DRS. Going to run a wide line into turn 3. Get the switch back, and now we'll get DRS, so we should be able to re-overtake him here. As we out-drag the McLaren, there's a big battle in front, it's still kicking off, so we might have a chance of getting involved again. But we do re-overtake Carlos Sainz, which is good, so back up to P10 into the points once again. I just need the guys in front to battle a little bit heavier so I can really get back involved. Sainz right on my gearbox here. Going to defend the inside, show them the long way around again. This is costing me time compared to, catching up to the guys in front. We brush tyres there, but Sainz does get in front. Let's use this opportunity to go for the exact same move as last time. Bottas behind, but I think he might have issues because he's not very quick, Bottas. He seems to be not really that fast to say he's in a Mercedes as we get the switch back on Sainz absolutely beautifully. And we pick up DRS, so there we go, job done. Good thing is though, the guys in front aren't putting away that much, so we're still in the race here. Here comes Sainz again. This time a little bit later on the brakes on my end, and we're going to squeeze him onto the curb. hard but fair racing. Sainz will have DRS once again. We'll let him go to the outside, and hopefully I'll just hold the inside line up towards turn 3. And that will give me DRS. There we go. Inside line again, and we stay in front once again. But this is not allowing me to catch the guys in front, unfortunately, but we're just lacking a bit of pace in the medium tire. My pace isn't terrible, but not quite enough. Both myself and Sainz are starting to pull away here. Bottas can't keep up. I think he's got a problem with his car. Personal best from us, that's a better lap, but Sainz is still on me here. Which is annoying because it's starting to really affect my progress. Again, squeezing him off at turn 1. Very rude racing from me, but he's not giving me much room into turn 1 because I'm trying to take the apex without cutting the corner like I did last time, and I'm not getting much room there, so I'm being fair, but that's going to take the pressure off for now because you ain't going to challenge me to turn 4. But we're not really catching the guys in front, which is a shame. I really thought I'd have a little bit more pace in this. Still nobody pits.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Which does lead me to believe there could be a lot of one-stoppers, which means our strategy will come down to purely the final stint on the soft tyre.
Copy that.
We are going to go a little bit longer. I think we can go a bit longer. I've got the tyres for it. But at the minute, I've got a couple of good laps here. Sainz hasn't really troubled me that much. I'm getting good exits where I need to get the good exits, and also the soft tyre now is starting to lose its edge a little bit, so it's giving me the chance to pull away a little bit from the Spaniard in the McLaren. Personal best, good pace, and we're starting to catch Giovinazzi a little bit now. First time we gained a little bit on that lap. Sainz still trying to cause me trouble, but he's not really close enough at the moment. Although having said that, he's turning the engine up this time and he's got a good run on me here. He's going to go around the outside. We're going to pick up DRS. We're just going to hold the inside line, get our usual line through there, and that's going to comfortably keep us in front. And we get DRS once again, so that's going to help us out. Okay, it's kicking off in front, but Verstappen's getting overtaken. As we set another personal best for Verstappen. This is on the hard tyres, interestingly enough. And actually, who was that in the pit lane? It was Verstappen, so there you go. Right, that explains it. I thought it was Verstappen getting overtaken by Gio, but it wasn't. It was him in the pit lane. But that's a quick turnaround, but I think he was leading the race, so it makes sense. He's almost got a pit stop gap on us, but on the hard tyres, that's a long way to go. Let's see if more people go for that strategy, because if more people go for the hard tyre, then we're going to have a massive chance of, you know, getting quicker on the soft tyre, of course.
Our tyre data is looking positive so far. We think there's plenty of life left in these for the moment.
Yeah, I don't think the AI are going to go for the 2 stops here today. They're all going to go for the 1 stopper. It's a question of whether they run the hard or the medium in their next stint. So hopefully most of them, the majority, go for the hard tyre, because that will be a big benefactor for us if we run the soft later on in the race. Now Gasly's in the pit lane. Up to 8th place we go. So both Red Bulls pit. There's also Ferrari leaving their pit exit, and I believe he was the actual race leader. And I can't quite tell it is because Giovinazzi's right behind him, but I want to say obviously Leclerc, Vettel, one of the 2. At the moment, Verstappen is struggling to make progress here on that hard tyre. He can't quite get the run of Sainz, who of course has DRS on me in all 3 DRS zones. And my pace is getting better and better as the car gets lighter. The tyres are holding on quite nicely. As we match our personal best, and Magnussen pits in now, up to P7. We've just got a 1 second gap to Sainz here. We're just starting to drop him a little bit. He's got Verstappen now to worry about because he's losing the slipstream room on me, which is going to make him slower. And I think we've probably broken the DRS barrier as Verstappen overtakes him. So there we go, we've got rid of our issues behind. More cars in the pit lane as we once again match our personal best.
Robert is coming in for his stop.
And we're actually catching Giovinazzi here as Sebastian Vettel loses the pit lane on medium tyres. So it's Charles Leclerc who leads away, and we're currently in P4 in this race. So let's try and get after Gio, who will probably pit in this lap. Verstappen's looking right at the back of us here. He's going to have a look, but no way through just yet as Giovinazzi pits in. So we're going to pick up DRS finally. Will that help us out? I don't think it will help us out much. Here comes Max, he's looking. We're going to just about hold the line and the position into turn 1. But will it last much longer? Let's find out. We do actually get a good run through turn 1 as we move up into 3rd place. Here comes Max again though. He's looking. No way through though, we placed our car beautifully. And he shouldn't attack me to here. We've got good traction out of here all race long, and there you go, we open up a nice gap. That's going to take the pressure off a little bit. Here comes Max again. He's looking for it. Trying every possible place, but no way through. I don't know why he tried to go on the outside there when he was going to get such a good run. He could have just gone on the inside. That's going to keep us ahead for a little bit longer, but surely now he's going to get past any moment now. Here he comes. Personal best from us, but he's going to go down the inside. Red Bull is not as slow as it is in real life. It's a lot quicker now in Season 2 of Career Mode. But we do get DRS, so we might have a chance of returning the favour here and getting some cheeky payback on the Red Bull. We're going to go to the outside. I'm going to love to brake a little bit earlier. Hopefully I'll get DRS on the next straight, but we do lock up quite badly. We're still going to get it though. Traction down and we get DRS. That should keep us ahead of Verstappen for now. So good timing on the overtake. I thought I overdid it under braking. But we remain in front of Verstappen for at least another lap. 4 more laps to go before we pit. Oh, there goes Max. Didn't expect that. I thought he would just slot in behind us. And he gets DRS on this straight, so we're just going to sit in behind and follow him. Use the slipstream. Hopefully we'll be able to have another go on the next straight as Hamilton's now behind us. So he's making good progress in the Mercedes. A much better turn through this time. No real heavy lockups. I don't think we're going to challenge Verstappen here. I'm just going to use him as slipstream and a chance to save ERS and fuel. Although we do get quite late on the brakes. A little bit out of shape though. Right then, down to P4. That's fine. We've got to worry about our own race. Personal best, good pace again. As Lewis now gets DRS. So we've got some more defending to do here. Same strategy as always, we're going to wait. Although look at the Mercedes, oh my days, that's a fast car right there on the straight. I was going to try and go down the inside there, but he just outbroke me and had too much speed. And a pretty poor exit as well. First signs that the tyres are starting to go now. I think we will put under pressure into the brake zone a little bit, but not enough. And there we go, Hamilton in front. Now Perez behind us. Next one to come through in the racing point. 1 more lap to go on these tyres. Thought I'd hold on to Hamilton's DRS there, but I didn't. Here comes Perez.
You want to pit this lap, so push now.
I actually wanted to go around the outside there, but in the process of getting out of the way, I actually blocked him off. He'll probably get past now though. And again, we'll just do the same thing out of turn 3, but look at the racing point. If we thought the Mercedes was quick, the racing point is even quicker. Big double front lock up. Good exit though, we're right on the back of him. I think we might be able to re-challenge here. Down the inside we go. Oh, struggling, big lock up. But we are going to take it, there we go. Right, now we get ready for the pit stop. Turn the engine right down because I don't want if Perez gets the run of me through here now because we're going to pit in, so we're taking a different line. Nice and easy through here. Onto the soft tyres we're going to go.
Don't forget, box this lap.
Let's just release Perez. He's going to slip through me even though I'm on the inside here going to the pit lane. There we go. Off he goes into the distance. So we're going to pit in for a one and only stop onto the soft tyres. Good entry. Very good in lap as well. So P6, let's see how far down we drop. Probably outside the top 10, I reckon. Here's Giovinazzi, so he's the guy I've got my eye on because we was getting pretty close to him before in the previous stint.
Complete, go now.
Okay, so down to P11.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
So we have lost a bit of ground as we almost brushed the exit wall there. That was very close. We're going to rejoin side by side with my teammate. So straight back into the action. Got the runner completer here. We're going to go around the outside. Hopefully I'll pick up DRS as we go into turn 3 around the outside, long way round, and there we go, job done. Right then, so we're P11 outside the points. I'm not sure who's yet to pit. I think everyone's done their stops presumably, so we've actually been overtaken by Ricciardo and Sainz on track on the undercut, so we've got work to do on this stint. Everyone will score points here today, so let's get a head down and let's go chase these guys. Let's see if I can try and set a purple lap in the process. I'm not going to run too much engine mode in this lap because I need it to overtake the cars, unfortunately, so we're not going to be able to use it, but hopefully if I time the overtakes correctly, then we should be able to make it work anyway. We've got the one Ricciardo here, although he's pretty quick on the straight. We are gaining on him. Down the inside we go. Off of the lock up, but job done. Lots of grip on these tyres. Up to 10th, back into the points. I think P8 is possible. Sons of Giovinazzi just up the road.
Some information on Hulkenberg. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Okay, Hulkenberg's out, and we jump up into the top 10 with a purple lap of the race. So only by a tenth of a second. Hamilton just did a 105.9, so that might not be definitive, but that's my attempt anyway without using too much engine mode. Here they go. The battle begins. Sainz and Gio side by side to turn 1. Look how much we're going to gain. No, I haven't even got DRS even though I'm right on Sainz's gearbox. I'm just going to follow the slipstream here. Sainz will have to defend from me now. Right on the outside. Try my luck. Look at that. So much grip. So much traction. Past Sainz up into P7. Oh, sorry, P9. Never know what one about there. Giovinazzi up next for 8th place. Let's get past him and then we've got clear track to hopefully race into and try and secure the points. Right then, there we go. Let's get past Giovinazzi. I'm not going to race past straight away. I want to save a little bit of fuel in the RS behind him. I'm going to use that. That's an opportunity. Sainz is looking for a move behind, but he's not going to get through. We're just going to use Gio as a bit of a chance to save a bit of fuel in the RS, and then we'll hopefully use that to race off into the distance. Well, let's see if we can get a good exit here. That will do, but to be fair, Gio gets off pretty well off the corner. And we are a bit far back here. We're gaining on him though. Looking around the outside. Doesn't quite happen just yet. I was looking for the same move as Ricardo, but then I was a bit further back, and also my tyres aren't as fresh as they were back then. So I didn't want to risk it, especially because we're now in the points. No need to risk it, we've got the better tyre. Let's just stay close for now. We're a lot closer this time. Let's just keep it nice and tidy for the final 2 corners, and it should be a straightforward overtake on the Italian driver. I'm going to wait until the next straight though, because this one is not a good straight. Because I can put myself in a situation where he might get back past me again. Into turn 1. He goes defensive. We're just going to brake nice and early. Get the switch back. And there we go. You've been played, Mr. Giovinazzi. Job done. Up to 8th place. He's looking for the re-overtake. Sainz also looking for a move behind. Is that Sainz down the inside? Yes, it is. He's gone for the full send, but we saw it coming a mile away. There we go. 8th place. Job done. And we are through. Let's try and open up a gap now. We've got a nice bit of fuel in the RS to burn.
Caution, caution.
Yellow flag. Someone in front has had a problem.
VSC deployed. The virtual safety car has been deployed. We need to keep a positive delta here. Slow down, maintain a positive delta.
It's Christmas, boys. It's Magnussen. That's what we're talking about. One of the racing points as well. They were going to outscore Williams, us as a team, big time. So that's going to take away some points from them and not give them to us. So that's going to cushion the blow a bit because Perez is quite high up. That's great news. And we're up to P7 now, and we've still got the 5 lap to our name. So
Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
that's a good thing. We've got the 5 lap to our name because we'll score an extra point, which is going to help out, of course.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining. Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green. Green flag.
Decent restart. Right then, just a few more laps to go. Let's just bring it home. Hopefully we can still keep that fastest lap. I've only got it by a 1/10 of a second, but hopefully tyres on other cars are suffering a bit now. Right, last lap of the race, and Sebastian Vettel wins at Austria for Ferrari. Leclerc just behind, making it a 1-2 for the team. So Vettel managed to overtake Leclerc in that final stint after pitting later on in the race. Meanwhile, it seems like we are going to bring home the purple lap of the race, the fastest lap and the extra point. I did try to improve on the last lap. I missed out by a 1/10 of a second. I just didn't have the tyres anymore. But luckily for us, nobody else is seemingly improving. So we are going to keep that fastest lap by a 1/10 of a second as we go through the final few corners. Engine turned down here. We're going to cruise to the finish for our fantastic 7th place. And once again, another points finish.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
Right, so looking at the final race results here for the Austrian Grand Prix, Ferrari pick up a 1-2 finish and they capitalise on Mercedes having grid penalties. Lewis Hamilton still managed to recover to third place from P9 on the grid, and very strong pace from the Mercedes, but Ferrari pick up all the points here today with Sebastian Vettel picking up the win. Max Verstappen P4 misses out on the podium as he gets overtaken by Lewis in the closing stages. Sergio Perez P5 in the Racing Point, beating Pierre Gasly and essentially splitting the Red Bull cars. We come home P7 and we should have finished 8th, but we benefited from Magnussen's DNF to score an extra position, and we also scored the extra point for the fast lap of the race, so 7 points for us. Carlos Sainz 8th, Giovinazzi 9th, and Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes having car issues that race. He still manages to score a point for the Silver Arrows. And then we've got Albon, Kvyat missing out the points along with Kubica in P13, and then we've got Raikkonen, Norris, Stroll, Ricciardo, Grosjean, and then Magnussen and Hulkenberg retiring from the Grand Prix here today. In terms of what that race means though for the standings, our gap to Gasly is still 6 points. He's not quite overtaken me just yet, and we're still hanging on, and we're just 33 points behind Leclerc, so he's not really racing away. Sebastian Vettel overtakes Bottas there for P3. Hamilton though is still comfortable out front with 48 points in his pocket and 76 over Sebastian Vettel. And in terms of the constructors, we're still the 4th best team. Racing Point do claw back a few points courtesy of Sergio Perez here today, but still they're a little way behind us, and we've got a nice 27 point gap to them still, so that's good news. As we go to Silverstone, hopefully some big upgrades for that one. I'm going to invest heavily now after this, but also Ferrari, they're overtaking Red Bull for second place as Mercedes are commanding both championships. But guys, that is it for the race here at Austria. We're now going to move into the laptop and put some upgrades onto our car.
You were cutting your way through the field during the race. Things looked close between you and your rival for a bit, but you came out on top, didn't you?
Great, well that's everything.
Okay, so here we are then on the laptop, and we already have one major chassis upgrade on the way for the next race at Silverstone. It is my home race, so I want to perform there, and we need to overturn the deficit that we've incurred at this race, as Toro Rosso, McLaren, and Racing Point all overtake us as a quicker car. So we need to turn that back around for the next one. So I'm going to invest in the chassis again here, and I'm going to go for the weight redistribution. That's going to go on the car straight away. I'm also looking at the aero, and I need to buy this major upgrade here, but that's going to take 2 weeks to arrive, and I don't have that time because I want it for the next race. So we do have it on the rear but not on the front, so to kind of counteract that, we are going to invest on front downforce in the form of a minor upgrade here. And we have 454 points, and I want to see if I can just afford this upgrade. And no, we can't. We're 40 points short of the weight reduction one. I wanted to put that on the car, and that would get us very close to Red Bull with the chassis, but I can't invest it there. So I might invest something in the engine because, you know, Spa and Monza are around the corner, and we could do with improving the car there. So I'm thinking potentially one of these two, but then again, we don't have enough points. So it's a bit of a tricky one. So can we afford an aero one at least, or is that too expensive? Yeah, they're all too expensive. So I think we're going to have to just pretty much sit on those points, and unfortunately we're not able to invest them as durability is also too expensive. So yeah guys, that is going to be it for this episode. Unfortunately I can't add another upgrade. I wanted to put one more on there, but what we have in the pipeline should hopefully push us back to the 4th best team, unless other teams in front do improve their car even more. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode, and if you guys did enjoy it, then drop a like on the video, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications so don't miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching this episode of Career Mode. I'll see you on my next one very soon, but until then, let's goodbye from me.